James, how do you do the things you do? I still can't believe that it's true. I get hungry when I think of you. Like champagne and caviar, you're such a treat. Like cherries Jubilee, you're oh so sweet. You whet my appetite each time we meet. Oh, James, it's true. I get hungry when I think of you.
Some people get quite surgical about chickens and wear rubber gloves and stuff like that. Well, I don't. I don't like rubber gloves. I don't like to cook with rubber gloves on. I wash my hands afterwards. That's the easiest way to do it, I think. But if you are going to cook a chicken, I got a chicken in the oven. I put it in about an hour ago. And all I did was crank the heat right up to 400 degrees and take the chicken just like this. None of this nonsense about trussing it and being very good. Just get, because it cooks better this way, and then you can stuff whatever you like inside it. I mean, just remember that this is how to cook a chicken. Don't ever forget that this was where you saw it. Poke anything you like in the back end. I've put grapes in there. Put the grapes in. Stolkanol, okay? And just put a little bit of salt on top of it, like that. I'm going to turn that pan down. Put a little bit of salt on top of it, and that will suck the juice out of the skin and make it into crispy skin. So that's how you do a chicken. I got one in the oven now. I'll take it out in a minute and show you. I mean, you don't need to see any more than that. Now, what we're going to do right now is a fancy dish with chicken. If I ever open another restaurant, I think it'll be just chickens. I got that pretty hot, but it doesn't matter. It got a little hot. Watch what happens. I'm not going to put any fat in it at all. I'm just going to put the chicken leg right into the hot pan. This is a way of cooking dinner for 2 or 3 people in a real hurry. Now, when you've used a board or when you've used anything to do with chicken, give yourself a good wash, okay? That's all you do. But get the soap off your hands, because I'll tell you one thing, soap is really dreadful if you get it on chicken and get it mixed in with dinners. So there. Now look, we've got, see how hot the pan is? Now I'm going to lift that up, and you can see the fat that's coming out of the chicken already. So I can turn it over really quickly. Now I've got a little fat in there. I can put some garlic in. This is a good Italian dish. It's a sort of variation of something they call saltimbocca, which means jump in the mouth, and that's little pieces of veal. But this is pretty much the same thing that you do with chicken, and it's not cut up small. It's very easy for company, because you do it and you've just done it, you stick it in the oven and forget about it. So what we've done here right now is take these chicken bits and brown them on the outside. We browned them because we just wanted to get the skin a little bit crispy to start off with. So we put them in there like that. The garlic, we'll cook it whole, let it go around like that. Okay? And we will start to make a sauce for it. Now, I'm going to get, I've got some sage leaves to give it flavor. I've got some prosciutto. I'm just going to make my sauce here by putting some cream into the pan and boiling it up. Right? Then I'm going to put some vermouth in with it and boil it up some more. Just let it go to keep it boiled up. And while I'm doing that, I've got the garlic in there, don't forget. I'm going to take this prosciutto, which is, now if you haven't got prosciutto, then use ham. Don't use bacon, because bacon's a bit too salty, but nice ham. But prosciutto, if you can get Italian prosciutto, just lay it on the top, like that, just like that. That's all you got to do. You want a little pepper on it, so you put the pepper into the sauce, and then it goes all over it, right? Gets into the dish, and put a little bit of salt in there, a teaspoonful, and keep it going. Just stir it around. See, it's going to boil. It's making itself into a sauce. It's flavored. It's got all that good stuff in it. but it's reducing itself down. This is la réduction. Just boil it down with the garlic in the cream and the vermouth. Just keep it going. Boil it really hard. That's why it's nice to have a fry pan with bits that stick up on the side. All right. And every second you boil it, it's getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And you can feel it going thick now. Well, I can feel it thick. Perhaps you can see it's going thick. But this is just the way. So we've made quite a good bit of it here. Now, pour that over the whole thing, the sauce. Cream, vermouth, garlic goes in there like that. We put some sage leaves and lay those on top of it. And put them on top like that. And that's what we do. Now that goes into the oven. Now, it's going to go in the oven at 400 degrees. Remember 400 degrees because I think that's the only way to cook a chicken. Everybody talks about starting off one way and working out with another one. Get it good and hot, 400 degrees or 200 centigrade, and sling it in there. And I'll show you how good my chicken that went in an hour ago. I give it 15 minutes for each. I give it 15 minutes for each pound. Now this is about three and a half pounds. So 15 minutes each. There it is. Now look, I'll show you this too. Maybe I better put it on a plate in a bowl and show you, but look at all this nice chicken fat that's come out of it. This is not what you're going to eat. You're going to keep that and make that into gravy. But there is a roasted chicken, 400 degrees. It's got grapes in it. I'll be back. Don't go away.
Don't go away. James will be right back.
Now we've got chicken in the oven. We got a chicken out. I'll show you that one in a minute. Before you start anything else, I just want to show you, look, that's the stuff that came out of the roasting pan that the chicken was in. Now if you take that top bit, that's the fat, see? And you can get that, you can get it off there by putting it, when it's this cool, in a yogurt container. But I just want to show you, you can get all fat off, and that stuff in the bottom is stuff that makes gravy. It's absolutely delicious, okay? But so you don't eat the fat, except to cook. I could use it to cook potatoes in, because it's got less cholesterol in it than butter, but it's nice. All right, now let's get on with this and cook this Moroccan chicken. Once again, get a hot pan and put the chicken into the pan without any fat, with the skin side down. Right? You can take the skin off, but it isn't going to taste the same, and it's easier to take the fat off. So having done that, go right back to where we were, the hand wash, so we've touched it now, and now we can get that over and done. We don't have to worry anymore because we're not going to mess with uncooked chicken anymore in this segment. Okay, now there's our chicken getting the thighs outside nicely done. I'm going to put some flavorings in this. I'm going to put some nice saffron in here. Now this is very expensive stuff, and that is far too much, but I just want you to see what it does, because I want you to see the colour. You can get away with a lot less than that. And what we're going to do is put a little boiling water on it, and you'll see the colour starting to come out of it. That's what it's really all about. This is saffron, terribly expensive, but there it is. That's the way it is. Got a lovely flavour. Now, I'm going to put a little turmeric in there. This, which some people would say is heresy, but it isn't, because I want it to give it colour. And give it an awful lot of colour. So that can go in there. That's just fine. Now, let's have a look here. Turn the chicken over. See how the skin, this fat starts to come out, and the skin has crisped. Right? That's all. It'll give it texture when you eat it. So that's that. And what we're going to do now is get an onion. That's the colouring for it. Let's see. And we'll cut the onion up and then cut it crosswise. That's the quickest I've ever cut up an onion. There we go. Right. Now, we haven't put anything fancy in there yet except the chicken. Now the onion goes in. Put the onion around and keep the heat up high. Make sure it's going and you'll get the smells coming out of it. Lots of pepper. Some pepper in there, and already when you fry onions very quickly over high heat, you get that great smell. It's not Moroccan, it's not anything, it's kitchens. I think onions are the universal thing all over the world. We want some ginger, so we'll cut off a lump of ginger and just chop that up. And this can go in with the rest of the things in there. Now, if you haven't got fresh ginger, you can, in this recipe, use powdered, but it won't taste quite so nice. Put it in there and give it a good stir so everything gets to start to blend together. You notice we haven't put any oil in there yet. And now, there's a bit more ginger. You can put that in there. Okay. Now, we have to put in the flavorings and the colorings. In goes on the onions, the turmeric, and the saffron. Here's a tin of chickpeas. If you want to do your own, that's fine. If you don't want to do your own, get them out of a can, but make sure you wash them. But best of all, what I like to do is when I cook chickpeas, I cook twice as many as I need. Then you put them in a Ziploc bag and you freeze them. And they're ready to go. It's really surprising. They're much the nicest way to do chickpeas. So there we are. We've got that in there. A little bit of honey. Drizzle about a couple tablespoonfuls of honey. Moroccans eat nice, sweet things like that there. Chickpeas, onions, saffron. That's what we got in there. We've got some cilantro to finish the thing up with, to finish this dish up with. And we'll just get that ready. And we're going to let that cook for a while, just to let it cook away. And it's going to take about 10 minutes, but we got a whole next section to go. I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes, but what I'm going to do, before you do go, no, I'm not. I'll do it next time. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go away.
James will be back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
You want to get a quick look at this before I move it. I just want you to see. Look at the color of that. And what I'm going to do, just to show you as a sneak preview, we're going to put green cilantro on top. It's going to be wonderful. So I'm just going to move it out of the way now, because all it's got to do is cook. And this is not an Andy Warhol movie. You don't have to sit and watch something cooking forever. We're going to put this pan on here. We're going to make different thing with chicken. This time I'm going to stretch it out with linguine. But get your chicken breast, and I use chicken breast for this because well, it's going to cook quicker and it cuts up easier. But if you want to debone thighs, then you can certainly do that. So we're just going to cut that up into dice so that it cooks quickly. We're going to crank up the heat here, put a little bit of oil in there. This time we're putting a little bit of oil in because there's no skin on the chicken and we need a little fat to make it, to make it cook. So we're going to make this great sauce for linguine. It's not just an ordinary sauce. It's going to be something that will, in effect, turn it into a great big meal. Now, here, take my chicken board away. Boy, we're being sanitary all the time. And we'll just give ourselves a wash, and we've got through dealing with that. Chicken is a worrisome thing. So there you are. We've done that. Now, push the chicken around. Immediately it goes in there to separate the pieces so they don't cook together. You want it all separate bits, but keep the heat up really high. Okay? And keep it turning over. There. Now, while it's doing this, give it some seasoning. Pepper. Funny how pepper goes in everything. I get these strange letters from people who say, boy, you use a lot of pepper. Well, I do use a lot of pepper. I use it because I think it's good for me. There you are. Give that a flavor. Toss it all around. Quickly, quickly, quickly. And if some bits are bigger than others, well, some bits are bigger than others. You just turn it. That's it. Just turn it over. Keep turning it over. And you'll see how it goes. Right. Now, we get some garlic. And this time, we're going to smash up the garlic. Where's my knife gone? I have to get another one. Here's another. This one will do. Well, the easiest way to do garlic is just to lean on it sometimes. Might be another excuse to wash your hand, because you don't exactly want to go stroking the hair of your nearest and dearest if you've been squashing garlic with your hands. There you are. So there we are. We've got some garlic ready to go. We're not putting it in there until we've got the chicken. See how the chicken's starting to go brown? We'll keep turning it over so that you get all the sides are brown, because we want this nuttiness to it. Sort of pepper and oil, and now we can put there. See, that's the kind of flavor we want to it. A little bit of salt. Put some salt on the top. Right. Now, on a couple of tomatoes. Great thing about cooking plum tomatoes is that they do cook very, very quickly. And so cut them up into slices so that the heat can get into the tomatoes. Throw in the tomatoes. And now, because you've got liquid in there, it's going to come out of the tomatoes, right? Now we can put in the garlic, because it won't burn. This is what we need to do. Right. Now that's got to cook for just a little tiny bit. And we got some basil. Some say basil, some say basil. I'll cut the basil up. And basil doesn't chop very nicely. It's much better to cut it crosswise. It looks better and it doesn't get so tacky. Okay? And we get a lemon. Now a lemon, let me show you, we've done all kinds of things about lemons, but you can get the peel off a lemon quite easily with a vegetable peeler. And I want this zest off this lemon to give this a real unique flavor. But everybody's got lemons. There we are, lemons. And we can chop the peel up now. Just cut it crosswise. And there we go. We want bits of it so that people are going to get it in their teeth and say, boy, that's a great flavor. We also want the juice. So we put the lemon peel in there now. Give it another stir. See how the tomatoes are starting to melt down. See the juice coming out of them. All right. A little bit of salt in there helps too. This is going to be a really great colorful thing. We want a little bit of pepper. So we just get ourselves a green pepper. And if you haven't got a green pepper, you can use a yellow pepper. If you haven't got a yellow pepper, you can use a purple pepper. You know, so it goes. But you don't need me to tell you that, because that's what cooking is all about, is using what you happen to have. Now we'll cut that across so because it's pasta, and we're going to serve it with linguine. This isn't pasta in the pot, but what we're going to do is serve it with pasta. Throw that in there. Give it a good stir. And see how the tomatoes have melted. Almost. See, they're ready to disappear. But all the time we got this great heat thing happening in there. We put the lemon juice in. There we go. Get rid of the pips. juice of a whole lemon, and all the time the heat's up high because you're cooking in a hurry, okay? You want a little heat in there, you can take a serrano pepper, one of those little hot monsters, and chop that up. Or you can put in a sprinkle of cayenne pepper, depends what you want to do. All right, sprinkle that. Now you can start to smell that. And then we'll put the basil in there. Put the basil in, and we're not going to mess anymore with this. We're going to take this, get our pasta, which is cooking over here, drain the pasta, and whoops, there we go. Grab ourselves a plate, pop it out like that, and put the sauce right on top of it. Now there is the way to cook in a hurry. If you want to open an Italian restaurant, give me a call.
The Urban Peasant will be right back.
Right, now there's my great chicken legs. Look at those. We look at the sauce in and the prosciutto, sage on top. We've come a long way from just the plain old roast chicken, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. But look what we did too. We did the Moroccan chicken with the chickpeas, and that's color, and that's excitement. That's what you need. And we did, you know, cubed chicken, which we made into a sauce to go with linguine. Perfectly good supper for a whole bunch of hungry teenagers. You know, you can do that kind of thing very, 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 very easily. No problem at all. And look here, see? See the fat on the top and the nice juice at the bottom. That's great stuff on toast but the fat you can cook potatoes in. Don't forget that. When you cook chickpeas, cook twice as many as you want, and then put them in a bag and freeze them. They will taste better than canned chickpeas, save you a lot of money, and you'll be able to cook things in a hurry when you want to. I'll sprinkle a little Parmesan cheese on there. Nice things to do, but chicken is one of those ordinary, simple things that you can just do a lot of variations on. It's like Bach writing all that music, variations on a theme, variations on a chicken. I'll see ya. Bye.